More and more people are using dash cams these days. There are so many to choose from. Which one do you choose? Well, if you happen to want a dual camera, meaning shooting outside and shooting inside, which is extremely handy if you are a ride-sharing driver like a Uber or Lyft driver or a taxi driver, then I've got a camera for you to look at today, and it's called the Rexing V3. So let's get started. What's in the box? You can see it's pretty straightforward. This is the unit here. It comes with a quick start guide, some instructions, your warranty information. Then it comes with some wires. You have your USB to connect the camera to your computer if you want to connect directly to your computer. As well, it has your 12-volt cable and some other tools like this trim piece tool, which makes it really handy to get the wires out of the way, tucked in into some molding around your card to give yourself a nice clean install. So for the install, fairly easy. First thing is decide where you're going to put it. Obviously, you're not going to put it right in front of your vision. I like to keep my cameras kind of out of place, out of view, so they're not obstructing my view at all. And in this vehicle, which is an Acura TL, I want to make sure that it's got a good view of the road as well as it can see the interior of the vehicle, because that's what people are buying it for. If you can't see the interior, instead of just seeing the back of a rearview mirror, then I would move it, that's for sure. So included is 2 mounts and 2 adhesive stickers. Then you stick that to the windshield. You wait a few minutes to let that adhesive set. Then you slide on your camera. And once you slide on the camera, then you take your 12-volt plug that you've nicely wired and you plug it in. And voila! You get power and it automatically starts recording. As you can see here, the red light is blinking on the screen and also on the little LED light as well. So the first thing you want to do is we want to format the card. So there are 5 buttons, by the way. Very easy. We'll go through them. There's a power button, there's a menu button, there are 2 arrow buttons, and the one on the furthest right is your OK button. So we're going to hit menu, and we're going to hit it again, and that's going to bring us to a setup page. We have Wi-Fi, date and time, auto power off, volume, language, screensaver, format. We want to format, hit OK. All data will be deleted. We're going to hit OK again. There it is. Now it is formatted. So let's go back and go into the first menu. Cycle through. We have resolution. And we can see right from the top, we have ultra high definition. So if you want 4K, this will shoot 4K video, but if you do, you only get the front camera only. And it'll also do 60 frames per second in high definition, but once again, only for the front camera. So we want both cameras. You can see there 30 frames, 30 frames. We're going to hit OK. That's what we want. Hit menu again. You can see there are 2 pictures there, one in the front, one on the interior, and you can adjust the cameras. You can see here, you can adjust the cameras, and also for the front, you can adjust that as well. And so if we go through the menus, we've got resolution, we already saw that. Loop recording. So this is how long do you want each clip to be recorded. So your options are 1, 2, or 3 minutes. I find 3 minutes a little bit long, so I'm going to go for 1 minute. Then we have wide dynamic range. I turn that on because it's really good for high contrast situations. Exposure, it's set at 0. If you're finding that your picture is a little bit, let's say, dark, well, you want to go up 1/3 or up 2/3, or right now it's pretty good. I'm going to leave it at 0. We have recording audio. We can record audio on or off. There is also a shortcut for that. Date stamp, if you want your date stamped onto your recording. Gravity sensing, we have it set as high right now, and that is, this camera will automatically lock a recording in if it senses a high G impact, for instance. So this is your sensitivity, how high you want to have it, low, medium, high, or off at all. I'm going to leave it on high. Okay, my plate number, if you want to add on your plate number for your car. IR light for the interior camera. If you see here, let's turn that. There's off, on, or auto. I have it on auto. So basically, when it gets dark enough, it's going to switch over to the IR light by itself. For example, I'm going to cover up the inside lens, and you can see the IR lights coming on, and it's trying to switch on. We have daylight savings time, GPS speed unit. We are in Canada, so I'll leave it in kilometers per hour. If you want, you can put it to miles per hour, whatever you feel comfortable with. And your time zone. ADAS. Now this is interesting. It's an advanced driving assistance system. So if we turn this on, what it does, it actually incorporates the camera, and it can measure if perhaps you're getting too close to something in front of you, or if you're drifting off in your lane. Now, obviously, it's not going to do anything to your steering wheel or your brakes because it's not connected to the vehicle, but it will give you an audible warning, and you can turn that on and off. I'm going to try it with it on. And then we have parking monitor. We're going to hit, to use parking monitor, please connect smart hardware kit. We do not have that. This is just hooked on a 12 volt, but you can connect this up, hardwire it, so it's getting continuous power, and there you can actually have gravity sensing or time-lapse recording. So when you're parked, for instance, if it senses an impact, so say someone hits you and they're running, well, when it senses that impact, it's going to record, and it'll hopefully get whoever hits you that way. Or you can do time-lapse record where it's just doing multiple pictures all the time. So we don't have the hardware kit. If you're interested in that, it's about $15, so it's fairly inexpensive. And we're going to go back to menu. Now the menu button also does a couple other things. If we hold the menu button down, now we've went into photo mode. So let's say you see something interesting and you want to take a picture, or you want something, you were in an accident or something, you just need a still picture. You just hit the OK button, hit it again, and that takes a picture. Now if we hold the menu button again, we go into playback mode. So now we can actually play back, or if we hit the menu button, we go into the playback menu as well. We can delete, protect. We can go into slideshow if we wanted to. And then we have that second sub menu as well, which is the same. So let's just go back into our recording menu. Now, what do these other buttons do if they're not using as arrows? Well, the right button right beside the OK button, you can see there in the corner, the little microphone with the red bar. So right now it's not recording audio. We want to hit that again. You get the little music note. And so it's recording audio. I strongly recommend that you leave that on, especially if you are a ride-sharing driver. You definitely want to record audio in case there's any type of dispute or anything. You have both video and audio. And beside that, if you hit that button, what that does, it toggles the windows of what you're viewing on this 2.7-inch screen. So right now it's swapped the outside view into the small window, and now the inside view is in the large window. And if we hit that again, it's just going to go just singles. So now it's only the exterior camera. And if we hit that, now it's only the interior camera. This could be a handy thing because perhaps maybe you do not want your customers knowing that it's recording interior as well. So you might want to just switch that, let's say, to like the exterior view, like right here, like that. Even though it's just showing the exterior view, it still is recording both inside and out. So let's go back into that view there. For playback, you have a few options. You can also use the Rexing Connect app on your mobile device. As well, you can take the camera right off or take the SD card out and bring it to your computer where you can download or just view the files. Also, you can use their GPS logger. So if you view your files through this logger, you can see all your GPS coordinates. You can see on a map where you were driving, what speed you were at, and this could be extremely handy if you were in an accident and you needed to prove this is how fast I was going, this is where I was going, and it of course has the date and the time, all the information you have there, so there is no question about what you're doing or where you are. If you want to turn the screen off yet still record, super easy. You hit the power button and you just tap the power button, just like that. The unit is still recording. You can see the blinking red light, yet the screen is off. And this is something you might want to do, especially when it's nighttime, so you really don't want to be distracted at all. You can turn it off, just a simple tap and it comes back on. So yeah, this thing is really detecting, it's detecting my garage door right now, and we are right up against it. So it's kind of cool, actually. It's amazing, this technology. I'm going to try to supply you as many different scenarios as possible in terms of the scene, whether it is backlit, maybe it's raining, dusk, cloudy. Here's a sample in ultra high definition 4K. Now remember, this is only for the front camera only, if you want the 4K. Also, if you like, you can do 1080 60 frames per second, and once again, that is only with the front camera. If you want both cameras, the exterior camera front and the interior camera, you can do two 1080 feeds, which we have right now. By the way, all of the in-car audio that you're listening to is from the Rexing V3's microphone. There's no external microphone that I'm using, so this is exactly how it sounds. And of course, if you're buying a V3, it's because you want the dual camera to film inside as well, if you're an Uber, Lyft, or taxi driver. So I had to pick up a couple passengers there in the back, as you can notice there. I've also placed this in another vehicle. I'm in my Highlander right now, and I mentioned it comes with two mounts, so I have one mounted in my Acura and one mounted in the Toyota. And this one I placed kind of central in the middle, so you can see the different point of view. One's in the middle here, and then on my Acura I put it off to the side on the right hand side. What I do recommend also though is if you are going to say take this dash cam and move it from one vehicle to another, more than two vehicles for instance, get the suction mount. You can order the suction mount right from their website, and it's $6.99. So that is a no-brainer, and I'm gonna order one of those myself, especially if you want to take this dash cam traveling. Let's say you are renting cars a lot of times in rental cars. Hey, why not take your dash cam with you, have a suction mount, just stick to that windshield, and put it in your suitcase when you go back home. We talked about the resolutions, but we didn't talk about the cameras themselves. On the inside, it is a Sony IMX323, and on the outside, you get the Sony Starvis sensor. This camera uses a super capacitor instead of a lithium battery, and it's a better alternative because you can use it in higher and lower temperatures compared to the batteries. So those of you that are living in hot climates, let's say in Florida, where the temperatures reach very, very high temperatures, especially inside by the windshield, that might be a huge advantage to you. Or if you're living way up north, then in the wintertime you have negative degrees for temperature. So in case you're wondering what it looks like at nighttime, here it is. Okay, for a lot of you, you'll be wanting this camera because of the inside camera if you're doing ride sharing. And right now it is nighttime, perfect time to test it with the IR, the infrared night vision cameras. The kids are actually talking in the background. I'm letting them talk because, in a lot of cases, if you are picking up customers, they're going to be talking as well. And let's hear, you know, what it's like for the audio.
What is 1 plus 1? What is 1 plus 1?
As you saw, it's very straightforward setting this camera up. A couple of things to note though. Once you get it, check your firmware and make sure you're running the latest firmware. If it's not, then go online, download the latest firmware to put that onto your SD card. Speaking of SD cards, also while you're on the Rexing site, check out what they recommend for SD cards and their recommendations. That way you get the optimal performance from your dash cam.
What else?
So what do I like about the Rexing V3? First of all, the size. For a camera that has 2 lenses on it, one for the front and one for the interior, it's very portable and it has a good size color screen. Also, I like that you can get different mounting options for it if you want to go for that suction mount I mentioned. You have that parking mode if you want to hardwire it, the built-in GPS, the Super Capacitor. It's a very full-featured camera for a small little package. And if you're looking for any of that, check out the Rexing V3. And also check out the video description below, because once in a while I find discount codes and I share them down there. If you have any other comments or questions, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to find your answer for you. Thanks. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.